I was one of those people. I had such victim mentality. It was very poor me, like everything goes wrong for me. I was incredibly pessimistic. I lacked motivation in anything. I wasn't hardworking. I mean, I literally didn't work. I was one of those minimum effort, maximum effect kind of girls, you know. I really did change my whole mindset and my whole vibration in the way that I live. So I really speak from someone that was a negative person. And what we have, which is, you know, I think one of our greatest gifts is something called neuroplasticity. And that means that our brain is able to form new pathways and make new behavioral patterns through repeated and consistent thoughts or repeated action. And so we can constantly find ways to reprogram our subconscious beliefs, to reprogram the way that we think. And there's so many techniques that you can use to do this, such as practicing gratitude every day, such as repeating mantras, listening to affirmations, even just having the awareness of your thoughts and knowing that, you know, we can only have one thought at a time. We really are able to constantly shift and choose the thoughts that we're having. And I think it is about this responsibility to commit to that. It's actually really easy to be unhappy. You're always going to find something to support that. And someone annoys you or gets you all riled up, it's really easy to just blame them and just go into like that vent in your mind or to someone else or to them. It's a lot harder, but it's a lot more rewarding to be able to stop yourself, to take ownership of your thoughts and to choose a new perspective, to choose a more empowering way to think. And the more you do it, the easier it will become and the more natural it will be. And I think for anyone that says or might be listening to me thinking, yeah, it's not that easy. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not meant to be easy. If you're reprogramming your subconscious pathways and changing the way you think, it's not something that is going to feel really easy, but if you commit to it and you're consistent with it, you absolutely will change your life.
Here are 3 ways to stop having a victim mindset. Number 1, stop saying always and never. When you say always and never, you're taking yourself from the present and you're moving yourself back into the past. Past habits, past patterns, past behaviors. You're never going to change who you are if you're stuck in the past. Number 2, you always think that things are happening to you, that life is happening to you. But what you're neglecting is the fact that life is actually very, very random. We start to see patterns based on our mindsets, but we don't control what's happening and we don't know what's coming next. So nothing is happening to you. And if anything, things are happening for you. Start to see the opportunities that lie before you. Number 3, your victim mindset is based on the worldview that you have. And you feel like you're a victim and you feel like you're suffering because your worldview isn't aligned with what's actually happening in your life. And that suffering comes from you feeling like you're powerless. But here's the thing. You're not powerless. And there are tons of things that you can control specifically around your mindset and your behavior and your actions. So if I just described you and you have a victim mentality, I want you to comment below and I will send you a DM so we can work together to change your mindset from a negative to a positive one.
This is how I get out of victim mode whenever things are hard in my life or in my business. I start to think of myself as a main character in a book or a story that I'm following and am super invested in. And then I zoom out and I think of myself also as the reader or the watcher of that story. And then I start to think about what I would root for that character to do next. Like, what am I wanting the writer, the author of this story to have that character do? Like, what is the main character energy in this situation? What would I be over the moon about for this character to do? And then I do that because I am the character. I am the writer of my book. I am also the liver of that story. So just wanted to share that because it's something that has been super helpful for me and has been a game changer to get out of victim mentality.
Let's talk about the victim mindset. The part of you that wants to be saved by another person. The part of you that doesn't know how to become your own hero. My mentor said to me, no one is coming to save you. Well, then I thought to myself, why don't more people become the hero in their life? And I realized that the victim in us has only ever seen being a hero on like a movie screen, in someone that they admire, a celebrity, a character, someone that's not them. So most of us don't even recognize that the admiration we have for another person is really the inner hero within us that's right there. Something I've found really fun is seeing the victim part of myself as an inner child, and inner childs are creative. So I started to ask myself questions that made me more creative, made me think about the person I don't even know how to become. Out of countless questions, these are the 4 questions I think would be most beneficial for you. Number 1, what would I like to learn about the victim part of myself? Number 2, what does the victim in me fear most? Number 3, what does being the hero look like to me? Asking that victim part of myself. And number 4, what is available in my environment right now that can give me access to being the hero right now? This has been my experience with the victim mindset and becoming the hero in my life. I'd love to hear your thoughts and advice that have helped you become the hero in your life. For those looking to shift out of that victim mindset.
How do you train someone, though, to stop being a victim in their own life?
In one session.
How?
Just do this breathing,
Yeah.
and then we go into the ice bath.
Yeah.
They suddenly feel power. Sorry that I'm yelling.
You can yell.
It's power. People feel being silent in that ice bath, overcoming all that stress, and suddenly feel that they are on top of it. And they are suddenly able to go past this concept of this dangerous, cold power, energy coming to no control, this anxiety. It's suddenly they got a complete hold over that. And with that comes that paradigm that always thought of that to be impossible to control. Suddenly it's a piece of cake. That is then turning into a domino effect, a cascade of feelings of, hey, if I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that.
So you can build personal responsibility by taking control of the cold and not.
Oh, absolutely. And just one day.
Here's why someone struggles with feeling like a victim, disempowered, or overall like they're just stuck in cycles of suffering. By keeping us focused on external issues of our life and blaming something outside of ourselves, we never think that something within us could be the possible source of all of our problems. By believing that our anger, guilt, or sadness is created by other people or external situations, we help to strengthen that particular ego attachment or perspective and feed the neurochemical addiction. The mind is always thinking that something or someone else is at fault, thus protecting itself from ever being discovered. However, the downside of this displacement is that in the process of defending itself, the mind accidentally makes us a victim by giving our power away to the external person, place, or circumstance it is blaming. Through committing to do your inner work, you are peeling back the veil and seeing this human plight clearly. So what happens is the mind accidentally creates disempowerment and creates our own victimhood by displacing and giving away our power to a negative situation. Now, this doesn't mean a situation isn't negative. It just means that we always have control over our perspective of that negative or uncomfortable situation. And whether we feel like a victim or we feel empowered is totally dependent on what this book calls the themes of consciousness. So the themes of consciousness are what determine how we go through negative or painful things, and that determines everything. So when we look at the themes, these are why two people can go through a situation and experience them completely different. One person can go through it and leave it empowered, or they can feel like they learned a lot, they can feel encouraged or optimistic, they can feel like they have options. The other person can feel disempowered, feel like a victim, feel like they're screwed over, feel like they have no options, feel like it's hopeless. Why? Because based on someone's theme of consciousness, that is what determines how we respond to our life situations. So when we examine where this comes from, we realize that our life is determined by our holistic spiritual perspective of how life tends to go for us. The book is The Inner Work. It's an invitation to true freedom and lasting happiness, and it will guide you step by step on how to build your self-esteem, work through these layers of consciousness that have maybe been leading us to patterns of disempowerment, victimhood, and things like this that we didn't really want, but we got ourselves stuck into on accident. There is a way out though, and it will guide you step by step to do that. The book is The Inner Work. You can get it now in the TikTok shop.